Hi, I'm Alexander Augunas, Everybody Games publisher and Eversaga RPG lead designer, and I am trying something new for this third post. Instead of just typing out a really long blog post, I'm going to record the blog post on a camera. So I got a question yesterday, which would have been January 3rd, about the Eversaga RPG that I wanted to answer briefly with a blog post slash video, and I thought it would be interesting because the question is from John Rice, who is the owner of the D20 PFSRD, the Pathfinder resource. And he asked me, "Hey, Alex, can you talk about whether or not Eversaga is going to be compatible with other D20 based systems?" And to jump to the end of the video, no. And here's why. So, when you sit down and you are working on a project like a role-playing game, you have to make a lot of decisions regarding what sort of people the game is going to cater towards, and oftentimes the design of that game speaks directly to the people that you expect to be playing the game. For example, if you want an adventure about dating simulations, you're probably not going to want to go to Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons for that. You could absolutely run a dating sim in one of those games, but there aren't rules systems to directly support that type of gameplay in Pathfinder or in Dungeons and Dragons. And that isn't to say that Eversaga is going to be a dating sim. It's not. Maybe we'll get rules for that. That'd be really funny. But out of the box, it's not a dating sim. And the idea is that I personally think that you can take any role playing game and you can make rules to play however you want with any game. But at its core, games are designed for a specific experience, and other games aren't always going to hit the experience you want. Like, if you want a really balanced style of combat, you're probably not going to go to Call of Cthulhu for that, because Call of Cthulhu is designed to murder you. Like, the end objective of the game is everybody ends insane, right? So if you want a game where the players have a reasonable chance of winning, that might not be for you. So when I sat down and I tried to figure out what I wanted the Eversaga role playing game to be, I came to the conclusion that other game systems that are already out there weren't necessarily doing the things that I wanted them to do. As far as I can tell, there isn't a game that really blends the high combat nature of like a game like Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons with the more kind of everyday life uh, style of gameplay that you would see in, honestly, not in a whole lot of Western RPGs. A lot of Eastern RPGs, like Japanese ones, you see that pretty frequently in. But our over on this side of the Pacific Ocean, our games tend to be much more action oriented. So I wanted a game that could sort of do both, that it could transition between the two in ways that made it feel like an episode of a TV show where you go from having moments of high tension to kind of like around the town sort of thing. One of my big inspirations for how I want Eversaga to play is actually my favorite cartoon ever, which is Steven Universe, where how Steven Universe can go between episodes of really high adventure, like we're going to go fight the bad guy, we're going to take down the intergalactic tyrants, and then in the next episode they're hanging around the town doing stuff with donuts at the Big Donut. So that's sort of the experience that I want, and none of the games that I've seen really deliver that right out of the box. So I decided that I was going to make my own system. So the Eversaga RPG is a D20 based system, but it is not based on any other specific RPG. So I hope that answers your question, John.